So good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So the back is once again convened for the resumption of the remaining back activities. So for the resumption of the back activities, we have in attendance uh, 5 out of 5 members. Are attending personally, we serve them, and also we have online our representative of our resident auditor, Ma'am. Ma'am Aisa Ala. Good afternoon po. So for the remaining activities, we have the pre-bid conference of civil works projects and deliberation of the results of the bid evaluation and cost qualification and bid opening of the one contract for the alternative mode of procurement of goods and related services. So are we waiting for other members, secretariat? Nine, so since majority of the bank members are in attendance, I think I will take the assumption of the remaining bank activities in form and in order. For our first order of business this afternoon, we have the pre-bid conference with the following agenda. 26MO0107, construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Alamada, Sultan Kudarat, Cavite del Norte. 26MO0108, construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Macabiso, Sultan Mistura, Municipality, Province of Maguindanao del Norte. 26MO0110, construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Abulito, that is in Suat, Maguindanao del Norte. 26MO0111, construction of the multi-purpose building, Barangay Ampuan, Bicol, Maguindanao del Norte. 26MO0159, construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Namabla, Alayan, Maguindanao del Sur. 26MO0136, road widening of Davao Cotabato Road, junction Dicos Cotabato section, K1660, +049 to K1660, +404, Pagagawa. So to present the basic contract data of the project subject of today's pre-bid conference, this will be discussed by Sir Rashid Nastoritin, our BAC Vice Chairperson and Chief of Planning and Execution.
Good afternoon, everyone. For the basic contract data for contract ID 26MO0136, road widening, Davao Cotabato Road, junction Dicos Cotabato section, K1660. +049 to K1660, +404, Pagagawa, Maguindanao del Sur. This is a road widening. We budget for the contract at 9,880,020 pesos. Contract duration is 204 calendar days. The contract 26MO0107, construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Alamada, Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao del Norte. The budget for the contract is 4,950,000.
July 30.
The contract duration of 445 calendar days. Contract 26MO0108, construction of multi-purpose building in Barangay Macabiso, Sultan Mistura, Municipality, Province of Maguindanao del Norte. The approved budget for the contract is 7,920,000 with contract duration of 225 calendar days. Contract 26MO0110, construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Apoluto, Deputy Suat, Maguindanao del Norte. The approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000. Contract duration is 145 calendar days. For contract 26MO0111, construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Ampuan, Maguindanao del Norte. Approve budget for the contract is 4,950,000. The contract duration of 145 calendar days. The contract 2026 M00159. Construction of multi-purpose building, line and block, 11. Planting done of the sewer. The full budget for the contract is 4,950,000. With the contract duration of 145 calendar days. That would be all. This is the contract here.
May Pasko kayo ngayon, Pe. Ay, sige.
Third, so to proceed with the discussion on the requirements of the document, so this will be discussed by Engineer Roberto Gomez Capulo from the Tacna Design Division.
Wala yung SITG.
Seven. Construction of the building, and the matters of temporary market. Contract ID number 670010 for Department of Building in Bombay. Sultan School Municipality, Province of Manila del Norte. Contract ID number 6M00110 construction multi-purpose building. Barangay Ambulo Road, that audit in Manila del Norte. Then contract ID number 6M00111 construction multi-purpose building. Barangay Ampuan, Bidon, Manila del Norte. Contract ID number 6M00159. Construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Block, Palayan, Manila. So the scope of work is as follows. Part A, facilities for the engineer includes the following. Provision 2, office for the engineer. Basis to the outbreak.
Kasi ang i-divide ko kaya wait lang.
Part B, other general requirements is the following. Permits, clearances, public signboard, provisions, programs, mobilization, and cessation. Under part 3, civil, mechanical, electrical, and sanitary plumbing works. Part A, earthworks includes the following. Clearing and grubbing, structural excavation of common soil, backfill construction excavation of common soil, backfill from borrow common soil, and partial fill. Part B, claims reinforced concrete works includes the following. Concrete class A is reinforcing steel with concrete 40, reinforcing steel with concrete 60, and columns and false weights. Part C, finishing minor civil works includes the following. Soil poisoning, catch basting, CHP, plumbing works, seating 4.5 millimeter thick 5% board and frame, wall 4.5 millimeter 5% board and frame, phenolic board, carpentry and minor works, finishing hardware, steel window, steel doors and frames, aluminum glass windows, sliding type, aluminum glass windows, awning type, frames, doors, wood panel, fabricated metal roofing accessory, casings, flashings, fabricated metal roofing accessory, casing mothers, pre-painted metal sheets, drip type long span, glazed tiles and trims, and glazed tiles and for finish, plain, cement glass and finish, metal and stone, painting works of masonry and concrete, painting works of wood, painting works in steel, metal panel, aluminum padding, CHP non-bond bearing, including and steel, aluminum stick. Metal structural accessories to walls and rods, metal structural accessories to turnbuckle, metal structural accessories to steel plates, structural steel trusses, structural steel foreblades, and braiding. Part B, electrical works includes the following. Conduits, gases, and fittings, wires and wiring devices, iron board with main and branch lasers, lighting fixtures and lamps, and auxiliary system. Part E, mechanical works includes the following. Air conditioning system, package or split type, automatic placement system, and fire alarm system. For contract ID 26M00136, road widening, Davao Compound Road, junction depots for the Davao section, K1660 plus 049, K1660 plus 404. Parting Pagkawan, soil is total work as follows. Part A, facilities for the engineer includes the following. There's a field office for the engineer. Exists, there's 4x4 contact service for the engineer on their basis. Part B, other general requirements includes the following. Audit placement signboard, patient safety program, traffic management, and mobilization station. Part C, earthworks includes the following. Clearing and grubbing, individual removal of trees, small, removal of backfill structures and construction and concrete, removal of backfill structures and construction, 100 millimeter stick PCCP and reinforced, removal of existing guardrails, removal of existing guiding posts, surface common excavation, foundation fluid, pipe culverts and grade excavation, common soil, embankment from road excavation, common soil, subgrade preparation, common material. Part B sub-base and base course is the following: aggregates on base course. Part E surface courses is the following: importance when concrete pavement and reinforced grounded stick upon the base. Importance when concrete pavement and reinforced grounded 80 mm stick for the base. Part F bridge construction is the following: reinforcing steel, the concrete for structural concrete has to be of an unstable. Part G drainage is the construction is the following: at culverts, 1,150 meters in diameter, plus floors, see, catch basins, 2,530 meters in diameter, and use. Part H is the structures that is the following: curb and gutter, has the place, sidewalk, 100 meters, stick, metal guardrail, including posts, single beam, metal beam entrance, bow nose, installation of metal guardrail, metal beam, including posts, single beam, seedlings and saplings for other programs and initiatives, and preferred price for plastic pavement marking zone. That would be on the budget.
Thank you, Janine. So to proceed with the discussion on the documents to be submitted by the bidders, particularly on technical proposal and the under financial proposal. This will be discussed by Engineer Janela Maria Romano and Engineer Arco Malazarte. And likewise, the process for the electronic submission and receipt of bids will be discussed by Engineer Vanessa J. Salazar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I will be discussing the technical requirements. The first bid envelope shall contain the following technical documents, including the eligibility documents. The failed jet certificate of registration for platinum membership in accordance with section 20 of the IR. Second is a pickup license and registration, the special pickup license in case of joint ventures. Third is a statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be. Fourth is the statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract in accordance with ITB Clause 5.5. The SLPC shall be supported by an owner certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in this test, or a similar performance in monitoring systems. In case of contracts with the private sector, an equivalent document shall be submitted. Fourth, or fifth rather, is the NSCC computation in accordance with ITB Clause 5.5. Six is a joint venture agreement, if applicable, and lastly, the bid security, the prescribed form and amount in accordance with ITB Clause 16 and validity period under ITB Clause 15. All prospective bidders are reminded that they must declare at least one completed contract to serve as their single largest completed contract. The declared SLCC must be consistent with and supported by the records reflected in the TW. In addition, the net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC, must be consistent with the completed contracts reflected in CWA. The financial capacity stated in the NFCC must be supported by the bidder's actual completed projects as recorded in the CWA, and all documents must be verified. These requirements are pursuant to RA 12009. Non-compliance or misrepresentation shall result in disqualification and may subject the bidder to sanctions under RA 1200. Next is the Department Order 166 series of 2024, revised guidelines for the issuing of certificate of completion and certificate of final acceptance for locally funded projects. For the procurement of infrastructure projects, the following warranties shall be. In the time the project construction commenced, the final acceptance, the contractor will assume full responsibility for the following: any damage or destruction of the works except those occasioned by force majeure, safety, protection, security, and convenience of its personnel, third parties, and the public at large, as well as the works, equipment, installation, and the like to be affected by its construction. 1 year from project completion of the final acceptance for the defects liability period, the contractor shall undertake the repair works at its own expense of any damage to the infrastructure on account of the use of materials of inferior quality, defects in the construction, or due to any violation of the terms of contract within 90 calendar days from the time the host has issued an order to undertakers. In case of failure or refusal to comply with this mandate, the procuring entity shall undertake such repair works and shall be entitled to full reimbursement of expenses incurred therefore. The defects liability period shall be covered by the performance security of the contractor report in section 68 of the IRR. We shall guarantee that the contractor performs its responsibilities stated in the immediately preceding section. If the contractor fails to comply with its obligations, the procuring entity shall forfeit its performance security, subject its properties to attachment or garnishment proceedings, and may impose appropriate penalty under sections 29, 101 of this IRR. All payables of the BOPS payable shall be assigned to the company.
Wait lang. Kung affidavit of beneficial ownership ko, hindi mo ito. Good afternoon, everyone. For the project technical requirements to be submitted by the respective bidders. First is the organizational chart for the contracting bids signed by the authorized managing officer. Second is the contractor's list of key personnel. So these are the project manager, DPWH accredited contractors project engineer, DPWH accredited contractors materials engineer, construction safety officer 3, and construction foreman. For project manager, can they include a copy of the TIN ID card? For project engineer, only accredited project engineers may be assigned to DPWH projects, subject to the limits given in Department Order Number 148, Series of 2024. For construction of buildings and bridges, contractors shall assign DPWH accredited project engineers in accordance with Department Order Number 227, Series of 2024, and shall attach certificate of accreditation or report of rating. For materials engineer, must be DPWH accredited materials engineer, attach also certificate of accreditation. For safety officer 3 with mandatory 40-hour basic post training course applicable to the industry, an additional 48 hours of advanced occupational safety training relevant to the industry as required by the DOLE. Attach a certificate of training for safety officer 3. So all pledged personnel should not hold more than one position or designation per project. Attach or submit a copy of professional tax receipt for the current year for the assigned key personnel. So all pledged key personnel should submit the respective qualification and experience data, which the work experience is similar to the project being secured, and this personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience set in the bid data sheet. Other pertinent documents, latest general information, sheet reflecting the beneficial ownership information duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission for corporations and beneficial ownership in accordance with Section 82 of the Implementing Rules and Regulations of RA number 12009 and Project Advisory number 2025-007. So all bidders shall be required to submit a sworn disclosure of relation and beneficial ownership, clearly identifying the natural person who ultimately own, control, or benefit from the bidding entity, whether directly or indirectly, through shareholding, voting rights, contractual arrangements, or other means of control in accordance with Section 81.1 of the IRR, RA number 100. Also, submit a certification of SO 9001-2015 for its latest applicable version in accordance with Department Order Number 110, Series of 2024. Next requirement is the list of contractors' major equipment unit pledged to be used for the project must be supported by proof of ownership, if it is owned or for lease agreement. For lease equipment, a lease contract and certification or statement of availability of equipment should be submitted with the lessor or owner as the pledger of the equipment, stating that the equipment will be available during post-qualification and for the whole duration of the project, duly signed and authorized. For all equipment, certification or statement of availability of equipment should be submitted as the owner of the equipment, stating that the equipment will be available during post-qualification and for the whole duration of the project. duly signed and authorized. For purchase agreement, the description of the equipment to be purchased must be indicated in the document. Pledged vehicles purchased by the bidder, contractor, or covered by purchase agreement must be registered under the name of the proprietor or the company within 1 year from the execution of the agreement. Vehicles that remain unregistered under the specified name within 1 year of the execution of the deed of sale will be deemed unaccounted. Pledged vehicles should be validly insured at a policy other than the compulsory third-party liability and should have a valid registration with the Land Transportation Office on the day of opening of bids. Bidders must attach the following if submitted fees: copy of the LTO official receipt or certificate of registration of their pledged vehicle, registered under the name of proprietor or the company, and copy of the proof of insurance of the pledged vehicle other than compulsory third-party liability. In all cases, the bidder should present the original of the documents during both consideration. So all documents in support of the ownership of equipment pledge and all documents photocopied from the original must be clear, readable, and certified as clear copies. Next requirement is the omnibus sworn statement for the prospective bidder in the form prescribed by the GPPB, duly signed and authorized. Next is minimum testing materials equipment. Contractors are required for the inclusion of the minimum materials testing equipment in the technical component of the bid in compliance with Department Order Number 11, Series of 2017. Contractors shall attach a copy of the inspection report and certification from DPWH. Next is sworn statement for conflict of interest by the prospective bidder or its authorized representative, duly signed and authorized. And lastly is the contractor's certification or affidavit on key personnel as to Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012, duly signed and authorized.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. For the financial requirements, first is the bid form. It must be in accordance with the form prescribed in Section 9 of bidding forms. Contractors must write the original total price of bid written in figures and in words. And if the contractor has a discount offered, please write the methodology of your application and indicate the new bid amount written in figures and in words. For the discounts offered, it will be deducted on original bid and not on the ABC, and the amount written in words will prevail. Next is the bid prices and the bill of quantities. It consists of bid prices written in figures and in words. Third is the detailed estimates. It includes summary sheets indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rental use, indicating also the direct and indirect cost in coming up with the bid. Fourth is the quarterly or monthly cash flow and payment schedule. There is also a prescribed form in Section 9 of bidding forms. And please take note that for the facilities for the engineer, for the 4x4 pickup type service for the engineer, bare rental basis will be the same as stated in bid documents. And the financial proposal that exceed the ABC indicated shall be rejected, and any missing documents in the mentioned checklist is ground for outright rejection of the bid. Next is the Department Order 110 2024, the implementation of ISO 9001-2015 certification requirement for large A, medium B, and medium A contractors in the procurement of infrastructure projects of the department. Next is the other pertinent issues. First, contractors' bid must submit one original copy and 2 photocopies. Likewise, the same must be book-bounded and properly labeled, tagged, and paginated as per the O number 90 series of 2002. And for those contractors who will use SPA in submission of bid, please be informed that we will only acknowledge it if there is a corresponding email of the said SPA from the official email address of the contractors. Next is the notice, the requirements in the notice of award. First is the notice with your signed conforme thereon, the required performance security, the required credit line or cash deposit certificate if applicable, the required contractor's all risk insurance, the precedence diagram method, manpower schedule, equipment utilization schedule, project organization chart, construction method, and construction safety and health program approved by the DOLE. Next is the three-strike policy of the department. The provision governing the imposition of administrative sanctions for contractors who commit acts which tend to defeat the purpose of competitive bidding, such as habitually withdrawing from bidding, submitting late bids, or patently insufficient bid for at least 3 times within a year except for valid reasons. I will also discuss the electronic submission and receipt of bids for the procurement of civil work contracts. For the preparation and submission of bids, prior to the deadline of submission of bids, the bidder shall send a copy of the official receipt of purchase of bidding documents in PDF format. An auto-reply email shall be sent to the bidder after successfully sending the official receipt to the proper email address. Bidders must prepare the electronic bid in a password-protective archive format and submit it to the email address identified in invitation to bid and bid data sheet. The submitted electronic bid shall contain 2 files, the technical and financial proposal, both in a password-protective archive format. Bidders must submit their electronic bids using the registered email address in CWA. The password-protective archive file submitted must be opened using the password provided by the bidder and must be successfully opened or accessed by the bank. Bidder shall be given a maximum of 3 attempts or a period of 15 minutes, whichever comes first to provide the correct password, except in unforeseen justifiable circumstances. Otherwise, the bidder shall be disqualified. The bidder may also be subjected to the sanctions under DO number 17, series of 2015, the three-strike policy as may be warranted under the circumstances. The official
The documents to be submitted in the technical support plans. It was discussed there, student engineer Janela Manuel Pumano, engineer Arthur Malazar. For the documents to be submitted in the financial proposal, as well as the guidelines for the electronic submission, receipt of bids was discussed by engineer Vanessa Jacob. For the city contract discussed, the deadline of the bid submission is on August 12, 2026 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Late bids shall not be affected and the opening shall be on the same date, August 12, 2026, here at the DPWH conference. Any changes or revisions to the contract, the petition will be submitted to the
So, just a pleasure of the back members, are there any promotions to proceed and then we other back activities?
I am more prepared to previous for the first meeting of the meeting.
So are there any objections?
No, objection.
So there is a motion duly seconded for the adjournment of the pre-bid conference for the civil works and to proceed with the opening of the procurement of goods and related services under the. We have RFQ BD 6049. Supply and delivery of computer device or use of the right of full acquisition and distribution and the evaluation of this drug to Original City with an agency of 185,400 pesos. We have four participating suppliers, AJ Soft Drug Internet Cafe, Computer World, Emcor Incorporated, and Holy and Black Offices Goods. So may we request the secretary to assist the bank in the opening of the sealed return quotation from the participating suppliers.
Minsan wala siya. Mamute. I mean, then. Okay. Oh, nana. Ah. Tama.
Next. Lawan phone na.
Ayan, sana tayo. Ano ba? Ano ba yun? Tabang na. Ilagay ko. Pagkawan ano sir, yata kay attorney. Tapos na si Arnold.
Oh. Bars.
You're fine.
Ano ba sa? Budget.
Ano, sir?
Ano ba yung budget mo?
Kuha, may mga ongoing, ano lang, weather. Alam niyo, ganyan ako siyang exit sa wala niya ako pagkawuro butang. Wala na butang.
Hindi ba bigla? Sa pressure natin, gamit pa natin ilan mga po. Tama ko sa opisipad na ako, ano mga nang galis. Sa ayun nga sa yung sunod niya ang pangatlo.
Yung jurisdiction ang nakasama. First, version of
Wala lang, hindi pinigay ko. May ganun talaga.
kung ano sa jurisdiction. Oo, isa. Hindi po. Itawagin ko na lang.
Diyan, ayun na yung
suppliers. The criteria is the non-discretionary measures with the partial fail on the absence of presence to require documents. So the requirements are the futures registration certificate, various business permits, the income business tax report, applicable for contracts with above ABC of above 500,000 pesos. Omnibus source statement applicable at ABC above 50,000 pesos, and the brand offered for the item as well. So for upon evaluation by the back of the return quotation of AJ Soft Drive, has been evaluated that they have complied and passed the eligibility requirements, and their quotation is in the amount of 124,800 pesos. For M4 Incorporated, it has been evaluated by the back that they have failed to attach their required eligibility requirements. For Computer World, it's been evaluated also that they have failed to attach the required eligibility requirements. For Goldie and Lack Office and School Supplies Training, it has been evaluated that they have complied and passed the required eligibility requirements with a bid offer of 120,400 pesos. So this will be subject to the further evaluation from the back and the technical working group and the post qualification of the lowest class rated. That is all for the opening of the procurement of goods and related services and the other procurement. So we still have the remaining for the remaining back activities, the deliberation of bid evaluation results for 5 civil works projects, and deliberation of post qualification results of 4 civil works projects at the pre-procurement conference of pre-bid conference of goods and related services and pre-profile. Pre-procurement conference of civil works. So the yeah, I see pleasure of the numbers.
People finishing with that. Big research. $100.
Any objection?
Okay.
So there is a motion with the second for the adjournment of the opening of the alternative mode of goods and related services, and to proceed with the other remaining back. If there being no objection, the motion is here. Actually, so online channel. We just have to, we did the opening of the procurement of goods and related services under alternative mode of procurement. And we still have the pre-bid conference of goods and related services for 4 contracts. So these are 26 GM 006 procurement of fuel and vehicles for using the routine and roadside maintenance activities in Maguindanao First and Second District and Cotabato City. Under maintenance division, the PWS Regional Office Structure of the city. 26 PM 008 supply and delivery of materials for use in the repair, maintenance of bridges in Maguindanao First and Second District and Cotabato City. Under maintenance division, 26 PM 009 procurement of rental of equipment and service vehicle for use in the repair, maintenance of national roads in Maguindanao First District and Maguindanao Second District. For the month of August, under maintenance division, 26 GM 010 supply and delivery of maintenance materials and personal protective equipment for use in the repair, maintenance of national roads in the Maguindanao First and Second and Cotabato City under maintenance division. So to proceed with the discussion in the basic contract data, so this will be discussed with Janela Maria.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I will be discussing the basic contract data for the items subject to previous conference. First is contract ID 26GM 006. Procurement of fuel and lubricants for use in the routine and roadside maintenance activities in Magdala First and Second District, in Cotabato City, under Maintenance Division, DPWH Terminal Office of Calabarzon. The approved budget for the contract is 10,093,855 pesos and 24 centavos. Contract duration is 120 for contract ID 26GM 008, supply and delivery of materials, repair and maintenance of shipments in Maguindanao First and Second District of Cotabato City under Maintenance Division, DPWH Regional Office of Coronadal System. We approve the budget for the contract, 2,996,391 pesos and 60 centavos. Contract duration is 95. For contract ID 26GM 009, procurement of rental equipment and service vehicle for use in the repair and maintenance of national roads in Maguindanao First District and Maguindanao Second District for the month of August 2026. Under Maintenance Division, DPWH Regional Office of Calabarzon. The approved budget for the contract is 2,037,550 pesos. The contract duration is 90 times. For contract ID 26GN 010, supply and delivery of maintenance materials and personal protective equipment for new repair and maintenance of national roads in Maguindanao First and Second District and Cotabato City, under Maintenance Division, DPWH Office of Calabarzon. The approved budget for the contract is 11,413,597 pesos. Contract duration is 95.
So we proceed with the discussion with the requirements of meeting documents. So this will be discussed by the representative of the end user. Ichi. Di pala po si Kena.
In behalf of the end user, we'll be discussing the requirements of bidding document. So for 26GM 006, the contract requires 101,608.5 liters of diesel and 11,770 kilograms of liquefied petroleum gas or LPG. The diesel fuel should be compliant with the Philippine National Standard, compliant with RA 8749 or the Clean Air Act of 1999, and compliant with Euro 4 standard. For the manpower requirement, there should be attached proof of proper storage and warehousing of diesel, proof of quality assurance and testing services, and compliance with the mentioned standards. For 26GM 008, which is procurement of various items for roadside maintenance. So there are 3 items, which are the reflectorized traffic paints in colors white, thermoplastic traffic paints in colors white and yellow, and for the bridge maintenance of Maguindanao del Sur, reflectorized traffic paints in white, thermoplastic traffic paints in white and yellow, asphalt cement, emulsified asphalt, and asphalt sorting. For bridge maintenance in Cotabato City, the contract requires reflectorized traffic paint in white, thermoplastic traffic paint white, and also thermoplastic traffic paint yellow. For contract ID 26GM 009, this requires for the Maguindanao del Norte daily lease of 2 units of service diesel with a 2.5 liter engine, 12-seater capacity, and fully maintained with fuel at 8 hours per day for the specified road sections. Also, it requires 1 unit of road grader with at least 144 horsepower per road section, 1 unit dump truck. All models should have a 12 cubic care capacity per road section. Boom truck with model NXG 1160 D3ZALIX per road section. Rental for 1 unit of front end loader with a capacity of 1.5 cubic meters or 1.95 cubic yards per road section. For the area of Maguindanao del Sur, daily lease of 2 units service vehicles with 2.5 liter engine, 12-seater capacity, and fully maintained with fuel at 8 hours per day for the following are given roads are. Rental of 1 unit complete mixer with at least 7 cubic feet running at 26 cubic feet per minute production. 1 unit road grader with at least 144 horsepower per load front. 1 unit dump truck with all models 12 cubic yards and a boom truck with 8 HP. For contract ID 26 GM 010, this requires various supplies for routine and roadside maintenance demanding that of the department, as well as various items for personal protective equipment for routine and roadside. These are all specified in the sticker. If you use the siguro i-replace ka lang. First, the party ka lang. The kids, we have some and the bottom. Challenges as we work out. See, I consider present and go on.
Thank you, Engineer Janela. So to proceed with this discussion, then the documents to be submitted to the readers on the technical and financial proposals. This will be discussed by Engineer Aya Paulo. And the criteria for the eligibility check will be discussed again by Engineer Janela Paliagoban.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be discussing the documents to be submitted, which are the technical and financial components. The first complete envelope shall contain the following technical documents, including the eligibility documents. First, PhilJet certificate of registration, platinum membership. Second, statement of SLCC or single largest completed contract. Third, NFCC computation or committed line of credit. Fourth, statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Fifth, if applicable, joint venture agreement or in the absence of a JVA, duly notarized statements from all the potential JV partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the JVA in the event that the bid is successful. Six, bid security in the prescribed form and amount in accordance with ITB plus 16 and validity period under ITB plus 15. Seven, technical specifications which may include a production or delivery schedule, manpower requirements, or after-sales service or parts, if applicable. Eight is the omnibus warrant statement, and ninth, for foreign bidders claiming eligibility by reason of their country's extension of reciprocal rights to Filipinos, a certification from the relevant government office of their country stating that Filipinos are allowed to participate in their government procurement activities for the same item or product. For the second bid envelope, it shall contain the following financial documents. First, bid form, which includes the bid price. Second, price schedules in accordance with IPD plus 13.1, and if applicable, certificate of domestic preference in accordance with ITB plus 25. Whenever necessary, modifications may be made to the foregoing components specifically for major and specialized procurement to suit the particular needs of the procuring entity, subject to the approval of the GPP. All bids that exceed the ABC shall not be accepted unless otherwise indicated in the bid data sheet. For foreign funded procurement, the ABC shall be applied as the ceiling to bid prices provided that the following conditions are met. First, bidding documents are available free of charge on a freely accessible website. If payment of bidding documents is required by the procuring entity, payment could be made upon the submission of bids. Second, the procuring entity has procedure in place to ensure that the ABC is based on the recent estimates made by the responsible unit of the procuring entity, and that the estimates reflect the quality, distribution and risk and inflationary factors as well as prevailing market prices associated with the types of works or goods to be procured. Third, the procuring entity has trained cost estimators in estimating prices and analyzing bid variances, and report bid prices relative to ABC and engineers procuring entity. The procuring entity has established a monitoring and evaluation system for contract implementation to provide feedback on actual.
We proceed with the criteria and procedure for the eligibility check, preliminary examination of fees, detailed evaluation of fees, or qualification analysis. For the eligibility check, bidders shall submit all required legal, technical, and financial eligibility documents prescribed in the bidding documents. The bank should evaluate this using a pass or fail criterion. Only eligible bidders shall proceed to the next stage. For the preliminary